Namaskar friends, I am Gautam Maiti. This is second time I am in this channel with my presentations on blasting and painting in Indian scenario. Friends, blasting and painting is a major aspect in any construction project, but we are not giving due importance to these aspects. Especially with this blasting and the operators, we do not employ a qualified operators or qualified painters. Friends, longevity of the painting is dependent upon primarily on how you are doing blasting. Blasting having two aspects. First of all, you have to put up an anchor profile to adhering the paint and the cleanliness. There is specification ISO 8501 and other NACE specification NACE 2 and SSPC SP10 specifications are there, which calls for in India usually SA 2.5. Now people doesn't know most of the people doesn't know what is SA 2.5 and how do you compare it. Friends, before going for blasting, you have to do a pre-inspection of your jobs, whether any external contaminations are there like oil, grease, and how much rust is there and how much build scale is there. As per ISO 8501, there are 4 types of rust grades are there. So you have to choose according to that rust grade what type of abrasive you have to use. Secondly, what problem we face in Indian industry that people doesn't want to bring proper abrasive. As per specification ISO 8501 and other specifications of painting, there are specific requirements are there for a particular abrasive. So their size, their bulk density, their dimensions, everything depends, and everything is responsible for having a good blasting surface. People doesn't care on that. They say, we are not getting a abrasive properly, so these somehow we are getting. No friends, if you have to have a long painting life of your jobs, you must have proper abrasive. Secondly, the compressor you are using. Mostly you are using a compressor without proper moisture free conditions. If required, you have to put additional setup for having a moisture free air. Unless until your moisture free air you are putting into the jobs for the blasting, definitely you will have a rusted or a ready set. I have seen several times people are offering after blasting, and I have seen that black milk, red spots are there, and people are not bothered. They are saying, oh no, we have done last 30 minutes, 40 minutes the same blasting and it is not removing. No friends, it is not like that. Perhaps you did not have done this pre-inspection, what is where actually. It would have been cleared before to start the blasting. Secondly, the blaster. They should know how to operate a blasting nozzles, what size of blasting nozzles require, how much distance should be maintained between your job and the nozzle, and great important aspect is the angle of this nozzle. In my main presentation, I will describe how much angle is required for what type of blastings. Secondly, this atmospheric condition. Humidity is a great factor to doing this blasting. Usually as per specification, we require humidity less than 85%. But in India, most of the cases very difficult to get 85%, less than 85%, especially in the rainy season or winter season. So you can put up a humidifier, dehumidifier, or the crude method I have adopted and I have succeeded that in your blasting set, you put up 10 to 12 2000 watt halogen lamp at man height level, all along the 3 sides. The entry and exit side you need not to keep this lamp. You can keep all the other 3 sides at man height level, everywhere 3 each side. So 10 to 12 lamp if you put and you wait for half an hour, you will find your humidity level come down around 70%. So it is good for your blasting. Secondly, people during this painting mixing. Now painting, what is painting? It is a mixture combination of hardener and the catalyst. So people doesn't know how to mix it, how to control it. You have to follow the instruction as per manufacturer recommendations. Now suppose you have a 20 liters pack. Usually a 20 liters pack have 16 liters catalyst and 4 liter hardeners. Now how do you mix it? First of all, you have to mix equally this is the hardener. Then you have to mix equally this catalyst. Then you mix together and with the mechanical stirrer you mix it and use it before the pot life ends. Now questions. Whenever you don't require 20 liters, you require say 5 liters of paint. How do you take it? How do you mix it? See, 5 liters means of 20 liters is 1/4. Your catalyst weight is say 16 kg and your hardener is 4 kg. So again you have to take the same ratio. You have to divide the 16 by 4, that is 4 kg you have to take for the 5 liters to mix it, making a paint of 5 liters and 1 kg of hardener. So in this case, if you mix it properly with the mechanical stirrer, first you mix it thoroughly, the hardener, then catalyst, then both you mix it. Definitely you will get uniform mixing and your DFT will be uniform according to coverage area as prescribed or as mentioned by the manufacturer. Now question, how do you spray it? Whether you will spray or you will brush it. It depends what type of paint you are using and what is the recommendation or the manufacturer. And the last things we face in this scenario painting, there is the problem with the measurement, DFT measurement. Suppose you are doing a zinc silicate or zinc phosphate primer, and if you require 60 micron of zinc phosphate, if you want to measure it, you will find somewhere 110 micron, somewhere 30 micron and somewhere 60 micron. So what to be done? No friends, it's not acceptable. Maximum 20% variation in DFT is acceptable. You have to take 10 readings, average of that, and that should not average reading. Difference between the average reading and your particular spot reading should not be variation 20% plus or minus. Minimum 10 readings you have to take, and then you can take a final decision whether it is acceptable, whether you require a repainting or it's overcoated. Overcoated is a problem. If you do the overcoating, it will spill up in a short span of time. And you have to use this paint within the span of your pot life. Maybe your spot life for 2 hours or 3 hours according to manufacturer specifications, so you have to use accordingly. The fourth, that is that measuring this instrument. Now, instrument you have to use, it should be duly calibrated from a NABL approved or any government lab. People doesn't bother about this. No friends, unless until you have the proper calibrated instrument, you will not have a proper measurement, and definitely you will be misguided, and in your longevity of paint will affect because of this wrong reading. So friends, let me start with my presentations, painting and blasting an Indian scenario. Friends, this is my second presentations in this series, and subject today is blasting and painting in Indian scenario. In these presentations, I am not going to narrate in details how we will do blastings, how we will choose your abrasives, or what are the other problems associated with blastings. Neither I will tell about or narrate about painting system, what type of paint you will use, how we will use. It is not like that. Here, the Indian scenario where we face the problem in blasting and painting, that I will try to present and try to give some clues to avoid that and overcome that problem. Because these most of the cases, paint failure cases, this blasting, improper blasting is the main reason behind it. If you do not have proper blasting, then how good quality of paint you are using, it will not last. Definitely it will get deteriorated, get damaged within short span. You will not get a long life. So friends, in Indian scenario, blasting and painting is a, you can say it's a, they give a least bother on this subject. Now, as a whole painting, there are some steps involved in this. First things, whenever you get a job, you have to do a pre-inspections. I will come later on what is pre-inspection. Then you have to select the right abrasive for blasting. Then you have to clean it, then you apply primer, then mid coat and so final coat, then measurement DFT. Now, the problem we faced, that the challenge we faced in the Indian painting industry is that we don't get a properly certified or qualified operator, both compressor operator, rather blaster, and painter also. Because there is hardly an institute available in India for giving this training of blasting and painting. It is the manufacturer who comes give demonstrations on their paint, how to do it, what to be done, and they give a certificate as a, it's an operator, it's a painter. But it is not like that. This blaster shall have a thorough knowledge what type of compressor he will be using, what type of abrasive he will be using for getting the right profile. So, it is a great challenge in India not to getting a proper operator or rather qualified operator. Even if you ask a good operator having experience, what is the humidity level you can do painting, most of the cases you will not find a good answer or the right answer. Another aspect is that the frontline supervisor, nowadays India having very good big companies like L&T, Techni, McDermott are very good in construction field, but when it comes to painting, it is usually being offloaded to local contractors, and it's pretty that this local contractor does not have full-fledged facility for doing blasting and painting. Even do not have proper instrument to measure the humidity, even they do not keep a right thermometer to measure the temperatures. It is a fact. Very few cases you will find all this, but 80% cases are like that. And the front end supervisor also, you will find hardly big as or NACE certified supervisor are controlling this entire painting activity. It is, yes, it is available, but not with, usually or everywhere. It is hardly 1 or 2 cases you will find that. That is the major things, that you do not have a proper supervisor to train your operator, train your painter what to do, how to do. Now, see this purpose, what is the purpose of blasting? Shall I say it's a blasting or surface preparation? It is surface preparation for painting. Blasting is one activity of that. And in India, as I said, 90% of paint failure happen due to this poor surface preparation, rather poor blasting. Now, surface preparation having two aspects. One is cleanliness, another is profile. If you go with ASA 2.5 as per SSP CSP 10 or ISO 8501, the profile should be between 30 to 60, rather 70. It's a wide range. Moreover, if you want to go to measure this profile, you will find somewhere it is 30, somewhere it is 70, somewhere it is 110. Now, how do you manage it? Let's say very worst conditions. Next, people do not have a proper thermometer, proper hygrometer to measure the temperature and the humidity level. They are least bother. Even though they are available, it is not calibrated properly. So you don't know what happening to those instruments. Now humidity is a great factor. Apart from that, dew point to be considered, and next you have to consider what type of abrasive you have to use. Here comes this pre-cleaning, pre-inspections. What is pre-inspections? You have to carry out before blasting the inspection whether there is any contamination is able is on the your object or the pipe or plate material, any oil, any rust, any pittings are available or visible or not. Now if it's come to the rust, and if you come to these grade SA 2.5, it's called near white metal blasting. Now if you have a rust, what you will do? How will remove this rust? Whether rust is having pitting or not. So for that you have to go through ISO 8501 and SSPC SP10. You will find the definition of, or rather classification of, grade rust, grade A, B, C, D rust grade. Now there are surface preparation cleaning specifications there, that is SSPC, Society for Steel Painting for Corrosion Protections, and National Association of Corrosion Engineers, ISO 8501 also available. Now if you go through this rusting grade, which is, you can see in this picture, this is rust grade A and this is rust grade B, C, D. Now what is rust grade A? It is the surface largely covered with adhering mill scale. You can, but little better, you can remove it. There is hardly any rust. What is rust grade B? It is surface which is begun to rust and from which the mill scale started begin flake. And finally the rust grade D, it is the mill scale has rusted away and which general pitting is visible under normal vision. Now question, whether you will carry out further blasting and painting on these rust grade D material where there is deep pittings are visible with naked eye. Here you have to take decisions whether if you want to remove this pitting, because you cannot do paint on this pitted surface, you have to remove this pitting mechanically, whether you are allowing to have the thickness, required thickness, including your corrosion allowance, then only you can use this, remove this rust grade D, or then otherwise you have to scrap it, reject it. Now if you see the comparison, this table, this you can see the SA 2.5 which is equivalent to SSPC SP10 and NACE 2 grade. What is SA 2.5? As I said, it is a near white metal cleaning and 5% stain is allowed. Now friends, there is a huge controversy about this profile gauge. How much, what is the profile should be equal to SA 2.5? SA 2.5 you must be a profile of 30 to 60, rather 70. Now how do you measure it? How do you compare it? Sometimes it is happen you are measuring by profile gauge and here you are getting 10 readings, 10 different readings, average is here, and another is there, they can produce some film, but you cannot compare with the film and your blasted surface unless until you have physical blasted surface as a 2.5. So if you can procure this surface comparator, that SSPC standard or NACE standard, you will find SP10 and SA2, NACE 2 SP10 which is equal to SA2.5. You can feel it by your hand and then you can take a decision, yes, your job is getting the anchor profile of SA2.5 and all as well as it is near white metal cleaning. Now, to do a good blasting, you must need a blasting room. It should be open at both the ends to take the material inside with one side and other side you can take out the material after blasting or painting. Then you need a dust collector because after each blasting or painting operation huge amount of dust will be collected at on the bottom and then you have to collect it. Then moisture separator. If you want to use a good painting, get a good painting surface, then you have to use a moisture separator. And as well as that, you have to use dehumidifier. Why dehumidifier? Because you have to lower the humidity level below 85% to have a good paint. Or rather, I suggest if it go below 75, then you will get a very good surface for painting. Now, there are certain criteria while choosing your compressor you have to check. Number one, you have to check how much pressure your compressor can give. It is allowed maximum 150 psi, and what type of nozzle they will be using is a right nozzle or venturi type nozzle because both of the difference and different applications are there. What is the nozzle to surface distance? How much you want to keep? You can keep maximum 18 inch, depend your job, and impact angle. Usually there is a thumb rule, if the angle is between 45 to 60 degree, then heavy rust and for cleaning pitted area your nozzle should be 80 to 90 degree. 45 to 60 degree angle is best for peeling heavy layers of paint and 60 to 70 degree angle is recommended for general cleaning. And next is abrasive metering. This is a very important aspect because each abrasive type has a different optimum flow rate through the metering valve. Before starting any blast cleaning job, it is important to conduct a trial. Then you can take a decision what type of blast is required. And another property is that check the blasting surface with proper comparator. Now, abrasive blasting by air. You require 5 basic components: air compressor, air hose, blasting machines, and rather pot, blast hose and nozzle. The compressor must be large enough to supply the volume of air needed at the correct pressure, and this depends on the factors such as nozzle size, number of nozzles and length and size of the air hose. Nozzles are available in several lengths, maybe 5 to 8 inches and nozzle length, and generally used for the removing tightly adhering rust. Shorter nozzle 3 inch or less are more appropriate for use behind beams in other areas where difficult to access using full range of motions. Now, paint application on climatic condition requirement. After grit blasting of pipes, structures, they shall be primed with the appropriate primer within 4 hours. So, what that is called dual time, that you after finishing your blasting, then you clean the surface and you have to do this painting or priming within 4 hours. The paint shall be applied according with the manufacturer product data sheet, which shall include the mixing ratio and method of application, the use of thinness, overcoating times, etc. Painting shall not be performed when the temperature of the surface is less than 3 degrees centigrade above dew points and when they are having a humidity of more than 85%. These all factors you know, but in spite of these factors you know, you will find very difficult to maintain these right parameters. You will find lots of excuse, sir, this is not possible, this is not going, there is a problem, nozzle problem, the market is closed, we are not getting a right nozzle, so many excuses. So, as I explained that for the blasting you require a proper blaster, trained blaster who is having a knowledge how to make, how to get a moisture free air. Now, as few slides back when I mentioned that for the taking the decision of type of blasting or the type of abrasive to be used, you have to do these inspections. That's called pre-inspections or pre-assessment. Because why? There could be a contamination like oil, grease, dust, rust, there must be a pitting. So, if you can't examine it properly, you cannot take a decision what type of blasting is required. Now, there is a oil contamination. It will not definitely go by the blasting. You have to clean it by a solvent or some steam jetting or some other means. And there, after blasting, lots of time you will find this red spot, black spot and flake like spot. If you ask your operator blaster that why it is not, no sir, I have tried so many times it is not removing. So, there you have to take a decision, no, it is not to be done by blasting, it must be do with mechanical cleaning like grinding, like sizzling, like hammering. So, you have to take a decisions. There are certain aspects also while doing the designing we have to keep in mind. When we are doing some things and you have to do the painting, you will find there is a little space available for doing this painting. So, designer has to take care all that he has to keep a space for painting also. Another major concern is that discontinuity, defects. You will find lots of places painting has been carried out with whole pitted area, over the whole pitted area. Somewhere it is some others pitting are extraneous material. So, these things you have to take a right decision to remove it and we can do the painting. I have seen several cases painting has been done without removing the what is called spatter. It's full of spatter is there and they have done the printing. Open porosity, they have done the printing. So, friends, to get a good surface for printing, you have to do this very much clearly and honestly, this surface examination, physical examination for surface where you want to do this blasting or painting. And sometimes what happens, if it is a mill scale or something is not visible with naked eye, then you can apply, you can use a black light which will cause many hydrocarbon to fluorescence. So, there you will find this, yes, there is some contamination and you have to remove it. See, as a total gist for the getting a good surface preparations, you have to choose right nozzle orifice size, airline distance, airline size, choice of abrasive, and you have to follow the right specifications. Then you have to take care of nozzle and workpiece, in between workpiece and nozzle distance. Angle of blasting, for heavy pitted you have to keep 80 to 90 degree. For removing old paint you have to keep it 45 to 60 degree, and general cleaning 60 to 70 degree. It is a thumb rule. You have to check after doing this blasting what is the conditions. And dual time, you have to finish the paint before 4 hours of this, within the 4 hours after blasting. Now, next problem what we face in Indian industry regarding painting, that is a mixing. I will give you a a crude example where people are doing mistakes. See, but for that you have to follow some standards and you have to follow the recommendation of your manufacturer how to do this mixing. Now, usually what happen that people are taking paints with some stick or something, they are mixing it and adding the thinner as he required. No, this is not the right way. To get a good blasting surface, you have to see the right kind of abrasive you are using. You have to check their MTC, how much hardness is there, what is the type, what is the row size, like this. So there are certain specifications available for this abrasive quality. SSPC AB1, AB2, AB3, AB4. This is a different type of abrasive quality you can check. And after blastings, you have to carry out some certain test. 3 tests is compulsory: dust concentration, salt contaminations, and ankle profile. If you can do this and if it is pass your blasting, you can rest assured your painting will last long. See sample photographs of this dust assessment of dust 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is, and then this SA 2.5. How will be the profile? You can, it is available in the market. You can, it is of ISO 8 as per ISO 8501. The best way to compare your blasting surface, because you can compare by your own hand and feel it. Now mixing, where I was talking about the mixing. Now for the mixing, you have to keep a mechanical stirrer and weight mechanism or volume mechanism apparatus. Why? I am giving you example. So your paint, usually we get paint in 2 packs, hardener and catalyst. Suppose a 20 liter pack contain 1 hardener, which is only 5 kg, and 1 catalyst, that is 15 kg. These both become 20 kg. You can make prepare a paint of 20 liters, 15 kg catalyst and 5 kg hardener. Now I will ask you to make a paint of 5 liters capacity, 5 liters volume. How you will manage? If you do it by thumb rule or something by your own hand just adjustment, no, this is not the right way to do this. What you have to do? Either you have to take 1/5 or 1/4 of the each paint, but it is not the right way. Now question is that what question I have put? You have to prepare 20 liters paint, and out of 20 liters 15 kg is your catalyst and 5 kg is your what is called hardener. Now you require 25 liters. Now 5 liters, how much part of 5 liters is if you compare to 20 liters? How much part? It is almost 1/4. So use this formula that you have to get a 5 liters painting medium, then for this 15 kg of your catalyst, I have to take, how will take it, how much? Now I require how much? 1/4 of that. So it is 15 kg. So 1/4 of that, that is means 3.75 kg you have to take it from there. And apart from this hardener, how much? It is also 1/4 of that, that means 2 by 1 means 500 grams. Now you have to mix it, 500 grams of catalyst and 3 kg to 275 grams of hardener. You mix it properly. How do you mix it? Before mixing, you stir your hardener once and your catalyst once. Then you mix it. Then use a mechanical stirrer with a certain speed. You can do this painting mixing. And this mixing will be uniform if you use this mechanical stirrer, but never use the stick or any other means. So to have a good painting agency, you must have a volumetric or weight measurement device. You have to have hygrometer and the scale and other required accessories, and after all you do have a good painting practice. That can be done in front of supplier of the particular paint. So you can train this painter or blaster and give them a certificate for your job. So friends, now coming the measurement. See, for DFT it may be on a concrete surface, it may be on this carbon steel surface, it may be on stainless steel surface. Now you have to buy a DFT meter. What DFT meter you will buy? I have given you example. You have to measure paint over a concrete structures, you have to measure a paint over a steel structures, and you have to measure a paint on stainless steel vessels. How will do it? So paint thickness measurement, an important variables that plays a role in product quality, process control and cost control. Why? If you do not have proper painting, you do the measuring and you are getting here and there different readings, you definitely that will be rectified and that will be cost is involved. Stop understanding the equipment that is available for film thickness measurement and how to use it is useful to every painting operations. Okay. Now you have to check what kind of measurement you are going to do and where to do. Then you can take a decision that how to take a measurement. Now taking the measurement, how? Will you take a wet film measurement or dry film? With wet film, actually it is better to have take a dry film thickness, because our code mostly prefer accept standard on dry film thickness. Now machines are available two types, one is for ferrous and another is for non-ferrous. Now how to do it, I am not going to explain what is the principle behind it. And in my next sessions on the painting, how can reduce the cost of painting, how can reduce the wastage, then I will mention this what to do. Now how much reading you should take? You have to take a certain area 10 readings minimum and take the average of that, and in between two readings maximum 10% variation is allowable. So if it is more than that, you can do the patch up work and completely do it rework or something new paint, and you can ask for measurement by your inspectors. And each individual reading do not have support to you cannot compare with others, because it's vary machine to machine, job to job. So you have to take this average of 10 whatsoever reading you take, and you can give a result on that in details. In my next presentation, I will try to give you how we can reduce the painting cost in Indian present scenario. So friends, now last but least of my presentation is that calibrations. Calibrated thickness gauge or DFT meter shall be used. Otherwise, you might getting a wrong information, wrong result, and that could be a huge problem. Different job having different material having different thickness measurement. So you have to be very careful that your instrument of measuring instrument are duly calibrated by NABL or government, any government approved laboratory. So friends, these presentations I have tried to find out, I have tried to giving some lacuna in blasting and painting in India we face every time, and it is you who can stop this non-practice or unfavorable practice for painting and blasting. You can take a lead to make them rightly, perfectly at once go, and you can say, yes, my team is very good in terms of quality. So it's you and your attitude makes a difference. Thank you very much.